Hey everybody, this is Ashley with Publish with Ashley, and thanks so much for being here. I am so excited to share the news today and how my journey of from zero nothing in KDP to $100,000 in over $100,000 in royalties. So if you want to hear how I did it, you want to hear my drama trial, and I have 5 kind of tips. How did I do this? Please stay tuned. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe, like, all that to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate you watching and being here. And if you wait till the end, I'm going to tell you about an exciting thing I am doing for free, and it's going to start next week. All right. So how did I get to 100K? I know, scary, huh? All right, so let me share my screen with you. Adding to stream. Okay, so this is my lifetime KDP sales. Okay, so this is actually royalties. So this is what I get to take home. Okay. Now, as you can see, these lovely spikes are Q4. So if you've all been wondering, what is Q4? What is the big deal about Q4? This is the big deal about Q4. There is some obvious spikes going on in the Q4 timeframe. All right. So you can kind of see, I wish this scale would go a little bit. Lifetime starts in 2011, but I really didn't start selling anything until kind of 2015, and I was doing I did some nonfiction books, and then I did some fiction and some children's books, and I kind of was playing around, and I really wasn't making anything. And you can kind of see this go up, and this is where I started to get pretty good at fiction, but it became, writing a book a month became very difficult. If you tried to do fiction, I know there's ghostwriters and all that, but I'm one of those people who I just can't. Even if I had a ghostwriter write it, I have to rewrite it for them. I just couldn't take it. I'm just that kind of person. So writing a book a month was exhausting. And so I decided to do a unicorn coloring book before unicorn coloring books were a thing. And this is kind of where I started to see some sales. And I said, there's something to this whole, coloring books, activity books, the whole low content thing. And I have to say that I do have quite a few notebooks, but I usually do more of the medium content, meaning like activity books, detailed planners, vision planners, coloring books. I do love activity and personal reflection type books that are more than your average thing. So I kind of saw that, this is amazing, right? And then I started this was actually my first Q4 with that unicorn coloring book. I did really well. And I saw, there's definitely some potential. And so I started kind of working on my business and adding things. And you can see that each Q4 I got better and better. That's really the thing. So now I know everyone's like, oh, but you must have spent a ton on ads. So here you go. I have some data points for you. So there is my royalties, $104,033.55. My expenses, my ads were about $12,700. So yes, I did over this whole lifetime spend on ads. Not really at the beginning because I didn't spend ads so much here. But as I got better, I spent more on ads. And I had about $2,000 in expenses as far as I bought Book Bolts. I bought the lifetime subscription to that. I've bought Publisher Rocket. I bought a few ads courses and things like that. So I've spent about $2,000. But on the whole, I make my interiors myself. I don't, I have had a few things contracted out, but they were really small stuff. But generally, so I've spent about $2,000 on my expenses for KDP and that. So, that's like $15,000. So still, you're talking, $80,000 here in profit. All right. So I wanted to kind of share that because I know everyone's like, oh, if you made $100,000, you must have spent $50,000 in ads. And that is true. Some people do. That is not my case. And that's my expenses. Most of this is profit for me. just because of how I run my business. All right. So here I wanted to give you my tips and kind of my thoughts on this whole KDP process. So I'm going to do mine with that. Okay. So my number one tip is that I'm stubborn and don't quit. All right. So my husband and I don't know if you guys have known this or if I've said this on my husband and I do real estate. And if you know anything about real estate, it is a fantastic business, but it is an expensive business. And it is fraught with very expensive challenges, and the learning curve is painful. We'll just put it that way. And it's not a cheap learning curve. But we decided when we were young to try and kind of go along this path and continually try and, buy houses as we were able to. And so really, it was like a 10-year learning process. It was like 10 years of not making a lot of money, making a lot of mistakes. And I don't want to say wasting money because I think it's a learning experience, but it is kind of a painful learning curve. But after 10 years, that's kind of when the trajectory went from like here to up here, right? You kind of hit that part in the curve where you understand all the problems that can exist. You understand what you're doing. You understand, just what you're doing. And so it got better. And so when I started my KDP journey, because I knew I had so many things going on, I kind of said, could I spend 10 years and do what I did with real estate, do what my husband and I did, put years into it, learn it, know every aspect of it, just really dig in and make it a success. And I decided, yes, I can do that. And I have to say, I'm on like year 5 or 6. And I have to say around year 3, I was, wondering, was this the right decision? Because I just didn't know. And that's kind of when you saw that coloring book that hit, like that's when it clicked for me. I had to try, fiction, nonfiction. I had to do, romance novels, clean romance, I had young adult, paranormal romance. And I did all these things until I kind of hit what worked for me. And what worked for me was that, medium, low content, focused activity books and coloring books, and focused on things that, I knew something about. And that's kind of what it kind of all clicked for me. And I got all those skills that I learned, learning how to advertise, learning how to create brands. The fiction world, if you want to know anything about how to build a brand and advertising, fiction romance authors, they know so much because they have such a voracious audience. And so I spent a lot of time in that world, and I took all the stuff I learned and I've kind of started to apply it to my low content, medium content books, and focus on the things I enjoy creating, the things that clicked with me. So yeah, my number one tip is anyone can make this work. I'm not saying it's going to take you 10 years or anything like that. But the concept is, if you want this to work, you can make it work. You just need to keep with it, keep sticking to it, keep learning every single day. And really, it's that, are you willing to stick with it when it gets hard? If you are, you will be a success, whether that's in 2 months, 6 years, 4 days, probably not 4 days, but you will be a success because you are consistently putting in the effort and willingness to take and make it work for you. All right, so that's kind of my tip number 1. But I don't want that to be discouraging, because I think you just need to get past the point where your learning curve goes up. And for me, it was kind of a slow process because now I'm going to talk about number 2 and 3. And number 2 is probably more important to you, but number 2 and 3 are kind of tied, and number 3 ties into really why it took me that long. So we'll get there, but 2 is probably more important for you guys. The thing I learned, number 2, is focus on your passion or what you know. And I kind of didn't follow this advice in the beginning. Definitely with my whole, I love to write, but what I was writing, it was kind of, I don't know. So it didn't fit with me, and it kind of had to take the activity books and something that I knew something about because I have kids, and something I was kind of interested and passionate about, of making interesting designs and things like that, that it kind of all clicked for me. And so what happened is I didn't know, I tried everything, right? The whole throw spaghetti at the wall, this niche, I followed the trends, I did all these things. And I knew there was something that I knew something about, but I kind of just, I thought, oh, it's too saturated. Oh, I don't have anything to add. I can't be unique. And it took me a while before I said, I can do something unique. What unique thing can I add to that marketplace? And so I found kind of my unique niche in that marketplace, and it really took off for me. So it ended up going back to the thing I knew something about, but yet I didn't feel confident or that I could add something unique to it in the beginning. But once I really said, I can do that, I can add something unique because I know about this niche, I know about, or niche, I like niche better. I know something about it. So that's kind of when it all clicked for me. So I think in the beginning, yes, learn, try different things, but go back to something you know something about, something you're passionate about, and find how, even if you think it's saturated, it is not saturated. There is always a place for you. It just may take a little bit of creativity and thought to find that place for you. All right, so number 3, this is your business, not anybody else's. So don't compare yourself to anybody else. My journey was really slow because I just didn't find myself for a while. And it wasn't because I was spending 12 hours a day or anything like that and not getting anywhere. I was building this business around my life, and my life is kind of a disaster. I always have my kids running in and out. I have 2 other businesses I run. I take summer vacations with my kids. There's just so much going on in my life that I kind of was discouraged at first because I wasn't making the progress I wanted to. But then I really thought about, okay, how do I want this business to fit my life? Why do I want to do it? How do I like to do it? And what parts of it do I like? Now, I like creating interiors, and so that takes time. I enjoy that. And so that means it's going to be a slower process for me because I create the interiors as I can. And some take a day to create, and some take like 2 months, 3 months to create because of all the other things that get in the way in my life. So I'm okay with growing slowly. Now, if you want to grow quickly and you have the money and you kind of know what you want to do, you can definitely hire out. If you don't enjoy creating interiors, you don't enjoy creating covers, you can still make this business work for you. And that's your business, right? You can make your business whatever you want it to be. So think about what you want and how you want this business to work for you, and then decide on the steps you need to take to make that happen. But definitely make it your business and it fit your lifestyle, because the more it fits you, the more you're going to put into it, the more you're going to work on it. Or, if you're hiring out things, you're going to hire things out you're going to be focused on hiring out things to the right people and the right, things that you need to do to get your products together. And that's fine. So you can grow quickly that way, or you can be like me and just, this is how you want to run your business, and it just is slow, if that's okay. All right. Number 4, treat it like a business. It is a business. Know how much you make. Understand how ads work. Understand what effort you're putting in and if it's worth it to you, and understand the numbers. You really have to treat it like a business. Now, here's the thing about businesses inherently have risk, okay? There are ups and downs and lulls to every business. KDP in particular, you're going to have the highs on the Q4 and around some holidays, but kind of the middle of the summer months are a little bit slower just because books, summer reading maybe is good, but not necessarily low content or medium content books. Now there are some, if you could do some summer activity books, those might sell really well. But in general, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't work so well, but there's highs and lows to every business. The other thing about treating it like a business is that business is about getting a product to the person and they find it good enough that they want to part with their money to purchase it, okay? They have to find value, whatever the cost is, so that they will trade their hard-earned money for the product. Now, I know there's this whole debate against quality versus quantity, and I think it's kind of hooey because guess what? All quality means is that the person who is purchasing it feels that they are willing to part with their money so that they can get the product. Okay, so quality is subjective. Now, quality, you have to understand the audience so that you can create the product they are looking for and they want. And then the whole quantity thing is, yes, if you create more products that people are willing to purchase, that whole quality thing, then you are going to make more money. So I think the whole quality versus quantity thing is kind of silly, because if you make more quality books, you are going to make more money. And the thing is, quality is really just interpreted by who is purchasing it. So notebooks can sell. You can have, activity books can sell. All sorts of things can sell, but they're selling to a particular audience. Okay, so that ties in to number 5, target market, know your audience, all right? If you know your audience, you will be able to make a product that they want to purchase, and that is going to be a quality product if you truly understand your audience, which is why, if you go back to my earlier suggestion on focus on something you know and understand, you are going to be able to make a better product because you are part of that target market. You understand the lingo, you understand the keywords, you understand what should be in a book, or maybe you understand different parts of things that should be in books. Like if you are an avid artist, right, and you really understand what an artist wants in like maybe a sketchbook. This may not be an example because I guess KDP paper, it's fun for kids sketching, but if you're a serious artist, I doubt the paper is really all that great for you. But you just need to understand what that audience wants, and so that they can get the product they need for whatever problem that product will solve for them. And that's one of the things I do like to focus on. I like to understand what my audience's problem is and how this book will solve that problem, okay? Because your book has to have a purpose, and the purpose is why the person is purchasing it. This book solves that problem. They want to buy the product so that they can, have their problem solved. Whether it's a gift for somebody, or it's they need to track their blood pressure, or they're really interested in coloring for their kids, or they're interested in coloring for themselves, whatever it is, they want their problem solved. So you really got to think about your audience and what they need and want. All right, so that was my 5 tips. So I hope it was really helpful, and I hope you guys, are excited about KDP. So I have a Q4 challenge. This is kind of the free class that I am offering. I have a Q4 challenge starting next week. It's going to go 3 days and are going to have 3 recorded videos on YouTube. And I think those videos are going to go out next week on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So what I want you to start doing, so if you're gearing up for this, we're going to talk about what in the 3 different videos. It's going to be, the first part is going to be kind of the concept of, I'm doing a branding product. So we're going to talk about that for the first one. And then we're going to talk about A+ content and how to use your branded product line in A+ content. And then the third, we're going to talk about marketing and on Pinterest. So those are the 3 kind of things we're going to talk about in those 3 videos. And so I want you to start thinking about my, advice tip number 2, something you know something about. Think of a niche or a topic or something you know something about. And I want you to maybe decide on 3 or 4 things and think about it. And then once we're going through the Q4 challenge, we'll kind of narrow that down a little bit, and you'll kind of see what the idea and concept of building this brand of products is. And that way, if you have kind of an idea to start with, this Q4 challenge next week will really help you. And so it's really just the idea of trying to get you moving from thinking maybe like instead of throwing spaghetti at the wall, trying to really focus down on something that you know something about and that you can build out into an entire product line. All right, I'm super excited about that. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you live on Wednesdays. Thanks. Bye.